U of M fired their football coach, Sherrone Moore. ESPN sources, Michigan has fired head coach Sherrone Moore, per me and Peter Thamel and Dan Wetzel. Now, when I saw this headline, this shocked me. I'm like, the brother is only in his second year. He's 9-3 of a team that's, I guess, rebuilding or whatever. Who knows? But I didn't see this coming. I know there were some folks calling for his termination, given the fact that the team was not playing up to the talent that it had, and they were blaming him. But then I didn't say anything, and some details started to come out. And let's see here. Let's start here. Apparently, he was fired for having a relationship with a female staffer. The problem is, that's not allowed. As a boss, you can't have relations with someone who works under you. And there we see him with his wife and their 2 daughters. And I said, okay, that's not enough to fire a guy. But I'll come back to that later. Then it says Sherrone Moore arrested amid probe after Michigan firing. So I want to make this clear. He was arrested after he was fired. This was not why he was fired. This happened after he was fired. Now, I don't know exactly what happened, but apparently there are rumors that he threatened the girlfriend and he was arrested by police and all this other stuff. I don't know what happened. I just know that whatever happened after he was fired, he crashed out and was arrested. And here you see his mugshot. There you see his mugshot. And this is my conjecture. I agree with this. It says Michigan knew about Sherrone Moore's situation for a while and intentionally waited until after signing day to take action, per Josh Pate. Pate claims insiders have been expecting the job to come open for weeks. And now Michigan is likely already engaged in potential candidates. Now, this is why I really think he was fired. I think that U of M was not happy with his performance, and they were looking for a reason to fire him, and he gave them one. That they kept this in their back pocket. Because my conjecture is, if he had beaten Ohio State, if they had won the Big Ten championship, they would not have fired him. They wouldn't have fired him. This was an out that he gave them. Now, Shannon Sharpe has some things to say about it. He read this story and he thought it was very similar to the situation that he went through several months ago. And he made some pretty sobering comments on his nightcap show with Chad Ochocinco and I forget this name. ISO Joe Johnson. Here it is.
You never think a situation like this can happen to you, even though you're doing what you've heard about. Nah, this is gonna be different. She ain't like that. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna get out. Don't nobody know but her and I. Blah blah blah. And I can imagine 6-7 months ago I went through something very similar. So I know what that storm is like.
Yes, sir.
And unless you've been in it, that's why when people say, this is what I would do, you don't know what you would do until you in it. Until you in that pressure cooker, until you in the eye of the storm.
Yes, sir.
Until you in...
Okay, I'm going to get ahead of myself because I got to say this right now. Shannon Sharpe is saying some good things, but one thing I need to emphasize is that he says until you're in that storm. This didn't happen to Sherrone Moore. This didn't happen to Shannon Sharpe. You see, a storm is a byproduct of the weather, and the weather can be unpredictable. A storm can sneak up on you. But this isn't a situation that happened to them. They put themselves in this situation. They took actions that led to their demise. Okay? And the reason why that's significant is because people say, well, why are you singling them out? Because you have to understand something. Until you build your own business, until you build your own network, until you build your own infrastructure, you are always a guest in someone else's infrastructure. And when you are a man that shares my reflection, when you look like them, when you're a black man, you are not afforded the same privileges. Okay. Non-black coaches, white coaches, they're all doing this. They're all doing this. But we're under a higher level of scrutiny simply because of who we are. Sherrone Moore, for as far as I know, is the first black head coach at Michigan. That puts a spotlight on him. And so you're going to be under extra scrutiny, and you can't move like you see the white guys move. You can't have a mistress the way the white guys do. And when you're walking around with a white wife, and apparently, I'm not going to show her a picture because I don't know if it's true or not, his mistress was white, that draws attention. You can't be so comfortable. You can't be under the mindset that you have equal rights. You don't in these situations. You don't. That's why you have to be careful. You know, Shannon was in a situation where he didn't want to pay. He was messing around with a girl that didn't have her sign a disclosure agreement. He thought that stuff was free. No, it wasn't. And Sherrone, come on, dog. You can't move like them. Shannon, you can't move like them. You don't get the same privileges. You do anything in your job that is slightly wrong and they're going to come after you. Even though you see other fellas doing it. Those other fellas doing it don't look like you. That's why you can't get away with it and they can.
Ocho, you and I have had a conversation. So
yes,
you know. Mm-hmm. To be in that storm, yeah. And crazy. To know everybody know everything that you worked your entire life for. Mm-hmm. You feel it like it's crumbling right before your eyes.
Gone.
Yeah. And the only people that's gonna be there, it's gonna be a select few. It's gonna be a select few. That's the hardest part. I mean, everybody. Look, it's kind of it. Look, and I understand the situation, but if you're married and you engage in an inappropriate relationship, why would you do that? You married. And see, everybody always say, well, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Well, if you thought you was gonna get caught, if you thought something was gonna go wrong, you wouldn't do it.
Right.
The same reason you speed. If you thought you was gonna get caught, you think you would speed? No. Unless you're a kleptomaniac, you're not gonna steal. You know, klepto just can't help it. But some people don't. You don't shoplift. You don't steal stuff, and you think you'll get caught. That's why a lot of people, most robberies happen at when? At night. You got the veil of darkness. Because I don't want to get caught. I don't want to be seen. The same thing while you creep. Most times, when the creeping take place? At night. Right. Boy, a college professor told me, he said the night has 1,000 eyes. And on most nights it has 1,002 because somebody sees you.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm writing that down, boy.
That's right. Especially when you're a prominent man. The night has 2,000 eyes, 10,000 eyes when you're a prominent man. You're the first black head coach at the University of Michigan, a Power 5 school. Someone said you have the most prestigious job in college football. You can't do anything that nobody sees. Nothing. Whether it be in broad daylight or at night. You're never anonymous. You're never creeping in the shadows.
That's a good one there, boy.
Damn.
See, the night has 1,000 eyes.
On most night it has 1,002, because somebody sees you.
Well, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to use that in conversation.
And then the other report that came out that he was arrested and things that, things escalated.
Damn.
That old hoo-ha, boy.
Hey.
What is it that Jay Williams said? A coochie can drag a battleship across the desert. That's how powerful it is? Yeah. Yeah. Both of these brothers have been dragged across the desert, chasing it.
It's undefeated.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
Think about Samson and Delilah, David and Bathsheba.
It made a fool of us all, though. At some point. In some way, shape, form, or fashion. One of the most powerful things, one of the most powerful things on earth.
Boy, that's a hell. There are some people I don't hate anybody, but there's a few people I really have a strong disliking for. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't wish what I went through on them. I wouldn't. Boy, it was tough. Boy, it was some days that all I had was not you, Ocho, and Joe. My family. That was it. Nobody else was there. All the phone calls, the people used to call and, hey, how you doing? What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Stop. I think that was besides that, yeah, it was embarrassing. But I think that was the toughest part. Is that people that you thought would always be in your corner, all of a sudden they weren't there.
No. They come to use you.
And I just remember my brother calling me every day, like, man, tell me a joke. Maybe like, hey, I know you got some story. Tell me what Papa used to do in this situation. What would Papa say? What would Granny say? What would this? It was always trying to pick me up. He said, nah, bro. He called Shelly. How's he doing today, Shelly? He's like, he ain't doing good. He called. My sister called. Bucket called. I think the hardest thing was when Bucket called him crying.
Yeah.
That was really the only time that I broke down.
For those who don't know, Bucket is his best friend. After his brother Sterling, Bucket is the closest person to him.
Because I'd never seen Bucket cry. I saw him cry one time when his brother got killed when we were in college. The only time I had seen Bucket cry. And when he cried, he broke down. Now I broke down. Man, I was like, bro. I said, homeboy, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I said, there's better days on the horizon. Just got to weather the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to stand it. Sherrone, Lord, I can tell you, bro, you got to stand in it. You got to, I remember Mary Porter used to always tell us, and I didn't really understand because I had really never gone through anything. She said, boy, everybody, they either enter the storm, they're in the storm, or they're coming out of the storm. There's only three phases. Everybody's doing something. You in it, you coming in it, you slap dab in the smack in the middle of it, or you leaving it.
Damn.
Damn.
Own it. Just damn. Someday you're like, man, am I gonna wake up? Is this a dream? Am I gonna wake up? bro. It's real. That's what Sherrone is thinking right now. I guarantee you. He's like, this is a dream. Is this real? This really happened? And just like that.
Blink of an eye.
Just like that. Everything that you worked a lifetime for. All these bricks that you stopped, that you, what is that, Jenga? Where you get the brick, you try to pull one out and don't topple down.
Huh?
And you know. Start stacking all back over again. All right, we're going to get out here on this one. It's our final.
Yeah. You know, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Now, he's married. Is he still going to be married this time next year? I don't know. But you don't get opportunities like this more than once. You know, when you're talking about coaching at Michigan, there are not too many jobs on that level. Ohio State, Notre Dame, LSU, Texas A&M, that's all I can think about. You know, unless you get an NFL job. But, you know, you got caught in infidelity. You got to explain that to your wife. And, oh, yeah, sweetheart, by the way, I got fired. So ain't no money coming in. Yeah. Good luck finding another job. Good luck keeping your marriage together. Now streaming on Patreon. Layman's Journal Chapter 271. If you've been following my content for a while now, you'd know I'm fascinated with human nature, specifically in regards to gender, and how differences in gender determine our behavior. But aside from gender, I also study group dynamics, and how they can influence human nature, and how the people we associate with largely determine the decisions we make. Because humans, just like cattle, wolves, and schools of fish, are pack animals, meaning we prefer to live and function within groups. That's why we live in cities, have circles of friends, and seek out relationships with the intent of creating families. And it isn't learned behavior, it's instinctual. Studies have shown babies, shortly after they're born, require human touch. Researchers don't know why, but physical touch in the form of affection plays a critical role in infant development and survival, which is why doctors, as soon as a child is born, lie them on their mother's chest, and why fathers often take off their shirts when holding their children for the first time. It's something about that skin-to-skin contact that helps a child thrive. But women, more so than men, need the group dynamic. They can't live without a pack environment. Men, on the other hand, are more like lions. We're born into a pack, and we enjoy the social familiar structure. But we have our bachelor years. It's a season in our lives where we, as men, have to go it alone. Like young male lions who come of age, we leave the pride of our families, move away from our parents' homes, get our own place, grow and establish ourselves as men. For the most part, we ignore women during that time, so we can hone our skills, chase the bag, and improve ourselves mentally and physically before returning to create our own pride or family. But not women. Women stay within packs. Many move out of their parents' homes like men, but they stay close to family and seek out social groups. They don't leave to go through seasons of isolation to self-improve. They focus their energy on maintaining or growing social bonds. Because women are the ultimate survivors. They don't have the strength that men have to survive in the wild, yet somehow they do it at higher rates than men, because they, more so than men, understand the concept of safety in numbers. They know there's protection and comfort within the group, and they will do anything to stay within said group. Even if the group is toxic, their desire to belong and fear of not fitting in supersedes the desire for righteousness if it requires being alone. This is why the overwhelming majority of cult members tend to be women, why social media personalities and pastors in spite of being exposed on multiple occasions, still enjoy strong, loyal female followings, because the women that follow them can't live outside of the group dynamic. And we see a great example of that in the film Set It Off. It's the story of a young woman, a beautiful young woman named Stoney, who joins a coven of chronically single black women on a bank robbing spree with deadly consequences. You've just seen a preview of my latest video, which you can watch now in its entirety, uncensored and without obstruction, exclusively on Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/Laymans Journal. Hope to see you there. I'm out.